It's the Daddy Show. Step off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clark's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, what is up? On captain, my captain, show stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot bitches just for you. Beat breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot time ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ. Strong style, chop, this is how it goes. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. I learned several things through watching that video, that opening montage. One, I wear this shirt a lot. All right. Two, I look awesome. I need a haircut, right? But my beard looks better. I've been working on that. There's no sense for a grown man to be walking around all gray if he doesn't want to. Ladies, am I right? Come on, man. Listen, all you ladies that color your hair and do things to your body, whatever you want to do to feel good about yourself, feel better about yourself, I say do it. Anybody's got a problem with it, you know what they can do? Hey, get out, right? The same should apply for men, baby. You want to feel good about yourself? Don't worry about what anybody else says. You know what I mean? You want to dye something, trim something, tan something? It's your business, isn't it? It's your life. We open very liberally here on the show because that's who you're talking to, Jack. Welcome back to the main event. Happy Saturday to you. We're a couple of minutes late. We're here. I told you I was going to be here. I, however, am not going to be here a week from today. Now, I know what you're thinking. As soon as you show up, you're gone. You're taking off. You lied to us. We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, all that. I promise you, I'm not taking off forever. There's a thing happening next weekend that involves comic books and a convention and out of town, and your boy's going to be there, spending money unnecessarily. Okay? But you know what? We have to do what makes us happy in this day and age, don't we? Again, if you feel better about yourself, you know what makes me feel good? Spending unnecessary money on comic books. Frivolous spending is what makes me happy. That and a lot of black and a little bit of pro wrestling and some other stuff we can't talk about on the air. Hey, what's up? If you're here watching, thank you. It's Saturday night. You could be doing other things, but you're here with us. How's the line? You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Smash the like button, kids. Do that for me. And right now, if you will, however many of you's here, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube and find Boink Studios, B-O-I-N-K, Boink Studios, and go follow that channel. If you can do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Go follow Boink Studios. One word, B-O-I-N-K, Boink Studios. It's a pretty channel. I did the whole thing myself. I'm very DIY, like you can't tell, right? But I'm very DIY here on the show. So please go follow the channel. And if you haven't been to boinkstudios.com yet, are you missing out? I submit that you are. The ticker's ticking. There's more information down below right here about social media accounts where you can find the show. If you're listening after the fact, you want to listen to the audio version. Hey, what's up? Thanks for checking us out. But man, are you missing a fun time on video? Yes, you are. We stream here on Wrestling Rumors Facebook page and also on my page. So thank you very much for hanging out. Let's say some hellos before I bring my guest on who's anxiously awaiting in the wings. Paul Brady, first to the table. How are you doing, my friend? Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. I assume it's like, I'm going to guess and say it's midnight for you right now. Is that about right? Eric Jackson in the house. Robbie, good to see you, my friend. Sandy likes the intro. Thank you, brother. It's no Ice Cube, but I like it. I like it. The good word, well, the bird. The bird, Paul. What else would be the word? Faye, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Faye says silver foxes are always good. I'm saying. Robbie says I'm like Dick Clark, ageless. We do have the same last name. All right. Go to the YouTube channel, if you will, kids, at Boink Studios, B-O-I-N-K, at Boink Studios. Please and thank you, and follow the YouTube channel. I'm taking notes for everyone that doesn't follow. You're going to get a demerit. You're not getting a gold star. And please bookmark boinkstudios.com. I'd greatly appreciate it. So let's go ahead and bring on my guest here at this time. You know him from Wrestling Geeks Alliance podcast, and I'm always afraid I'm going to get that wrong. It's the easiest 3 words to remember. And the other day, he's going to laugh. I actually had to look it up. What kind of a jerk am I? I legit could not remember. Like, why is this so hard for... I'll tell you why it is. I'll get him on stage and then I'll tell him why it is so he doesn't think bad of me. Chris Patton, how are you, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. I don't know. You have such a hard time with
I have such a hard time with it. I'll tell you why.
Wrestling Geeks Alliance, Geek Vibes Live. Check it out for all of your comic book and Comic-Con and all the nerd news you need. But yeah, we've been doing wrestling for like I don't know, 9 years, 8 years.
That's all?
Yeah, a long time. We have more shows than Tom. So if you want to go back, and you're like, what was that Fiend Elimination Chamber match like? We got the review on that. We got
you may have more than this show, but do you have more than I do total?
Oh, combined with well, I mean, if I combine my episodes that I've done with you, maybe. I don't know.
I was the nerd that used to count them up just out of vanity's sake to see where I was. I'm over 500, but I don't know how far over 500 now. I don't know. So
you also A-Town Down? Everybody from the A?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, well, 6M Podcast here for me, of course, and Two Nations Entertainment. I don't think I added that show.
So,
look.
So Tom, you look a lot like another not that you're a YouTuber, but there's a guy named the Gitologist, and he only he intricately solders and does amps and so
really,
yeah. You guys have like kind of the same vibe. So if you're into weird guitar stuff and you like Tom, check out the Gitologist. I think
Gitologist. I'm gonna do it right now.
It falls in.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, you see it. You see it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got much better hair than I do. I could never pull off long hair. In my younger days, I tried. I had enough at one point to do a really short ponytail, and that was as long as it would get. And it wasn't even a ponytail. It was more like a John Belushi samurai poof in the back. You know what I mean? A lot of people are not going to get that joke, but it's all right.
I think they should grow it long and swipe it to the side. Like get the Connor Oberst thing going. Maybe a double lock if you want to get it really long. You'd be like Danzig.
Hey, I'm just saying. What's the guy? The Misfits?
Yeah, Danzig.
Yeah. Bruno Royce in the crowd. We're gonna have Bruno Royce here on the show coming up soon. We will get to it for sure. I messaged him earlier today. Sandy, thanks for sharing the show, and that brings up a good point, kids. Please share this broadcast on your Facebook page. It's Saturday night. Of all the time slots and all the crummy little towns that I could have walked into, I chose 6:05 on a honking Saturday night because I'm a friggin' idiot. We may not be here forever because, as you can see, no one's watching. I get views after the fact, but live, people are like, hey, we have a life, buddy. Hey, real quick, Chris, here's why I keep screwing up the name of your show. Because I started writing for about 15 minutes for this website that I'm not going to say their name on the show. But the guy running it, I won't say snake oil salesman, but it was a lot of, we're going to take over the world. We're going to. And I'm like, I've heard this before. I don't know who you're talking to. Like, I've heard this stuff before. Just pay me what you owe me. By the way, never got paid. Wrote a handful of columns, never got anything. Whatever, dude. So, yeah. So, but the name of that website's very similar to the name of your show. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but that's why I keep getting it screwed up in my head.
Yeah, let's have a separate conversation about that offline because it is Geek Vibe Nations and Wrestling Geeks Alliance. So we can talk about that. And
Yeah,
also,
no, it's
I'll settle up that I'll settle up that paycheck if that's a thing. But anyways,
I don't know. I don't think it is. Is it the same thing? I don't want to do it on the air. It's fine, but like, I swear I thought it was two separate things. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's something else. It's something else. Yeah. It's something else. I promise you. I just remember the full name of it. I don't want to do it on the air. No.
All right. Well,
I'm serious.
Don't say the full
I'll
name
message
of
you
it.
privately.
Yo, in general, we got you taken care of, brother. We owe you. we owe you like $50 for an article. Let me know, bro. I got you.
There you go. I sent it to you in a private chat because I'm not one of those guys, man. You know me. I'm not one of those. Let's air dirty laundry about other people because, like,
we should air it because if people aren't paying people, we should talk about it.
Well, that's fair too. That's fair too.
Let's talk about it. And if you're not getting paid, I'll cover you, dude. I got you.
Man, you're awesome. Ruthie Thomas. Hello, Miss Thomas. We are indeed talking about wrestling. Hello in the UK. I broadcast with some folks in the UK. Do you know them? That's a dumb joke. That's a dumb joke. That's one of those, you all must know each other. Kind of, it's so dumb. Thank you for watching. I don't think you've ever watched before. Look, Miss Thomas wants to get to it. We don't need to mess around anymore and talk about undelivered paychecks. It's fine. All right. It's fine. I got people on it. So
I will write like 3 articles for you. It'll be fine. Let's check out.
I got people on. I don't get my hands dirty. You understand? I hire people for that crap. All right.
I mean, I'll write your new intro song. I got you.
Oh, there you go. I just paid for this one. You can't be writing one now, man. Come on.
No, I just paid for 2 more, so you'll be good. Like,
I see.
It's like a subscription service.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you subscribe, you get the different entrance music. Yeah. So we're going to kick off today, and yes, kids, we're going to cover AEW, NJPW, and WWE. I haven't forgot about you WWE diehards out there who love watching that stuff. So we've got some high-level info, and we try to keep the topics short so we don't get you with 2.5 hours like I've done for the past 2 weeks in a row. And all my guests are like, man, I want to go to sleep. But that freaking Tom, man. So anyway, we'll try to take it easy on you. So, Chris, this week, the BCC back in full force. Wheeler Yuta back from injury. Looked awesome. And, we always say you don't really know what's going on with guys. All you know is what you see on TV and rumors that you hear. But, man, from a distance, it looked like they were having the most fun out there. And those 4 guys together are awesome. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed seeing them back together. What do you think about that faction as a whole?
Tom, do you want my Krispy Kreme donut super happy?
No, give whatever you got, brother.
I'm done with it.
Are you really? How come?
Yeah. It's the Blackpool Combat Club, and no one is from Blackpool, first and foremost.
That's aesthetics. What else you got?
Brian Danielson is on his own path. Has he done anything with his group at all? Moxley is the new he's the New Japan heavyweight champion. Has nothing to do with them. So it's just literally Cesaro.
Well, Claudio.
And Claudio Castagnoli. I mean, if we're gonna get technical, but yes. Yeah,
so I kind of like.
What are we doing with this group? So where would you go with this group?
So I kind of liken it to New Japan, where they're factions, but they don't necessarily run together all the time. It's just that like Okada was with Chaos. You knew that. He didn't always tag with Chaos all the time, but you knew that's who he represented. That's kind of how I view it with these guys.
So the problem is in New Japan, you have Super Juniors and you have like G1. You have tournaments that build it up, and you also don't have 18 title belts.
Well, that's fair. Have we done a count? What's the count on New Japan titles versus 8? Because, man, New Japan's got some titles, man.
I mean, they do. They have a trios. They have a tag title. They have a junior title. They have a weight title.
They got the open weight titles.
They have an open weight title, which is just created to deal with international and the new title they're about to introduce right on. Just put that thing right on Mercedes Money. That's happening.
They
They have too many titles, bro. Wrestling
Well, you know,
wrestling should have I would say 5 titles.
really?
Heavyweight title,
Uh-huh.
women's title. I'm gonna give the women's tag team title a shot, but I would even like say until someone proves me wrong because no one's done it good.
Mhm.
Women's tag titles, men's tag titles, and then the IC belt. That's it. That's all you need. TV belt if you're AEW. You don't need 2 TV belts. You don't need international multi time period. Like, what are we doing? The multiverse title? Like what?
So New Japan has 10 championships because the strong titles are being moved to the States.
But that was power. So it was separate. It was 5 titles, 5 titles. Now it's 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
I get what
technically
you
half of those are going to go back to the States because AEW is their, their fan club. Hey, let's go. Give us your titles.
So are you not a fan of like their partnership here? What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I love if I'm AEW, just take those titles and be like, yeah, we got them. But if you're New Japan, you got to book the Tokyo Dome. You're like, well, I guess Moxley's over there right now. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Oh, you know Okada, our ace for that 800-year or 800-day run of the title? Yeah, he's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gone. So, anyways, we sent titles over there. That's fun. Pretty good.
Well,
who is booking? This is not Gato. This is
gotta be Gato.
There's no way. Tony Khan's got to be buying New Japan, dude. There's got to be. It has to be something with the video packaging rights that's not already done. That's been in the works for a while. Or it seems like it's in the works for a while, because why else would Moxley be having very terrible matches with your belt?
Well, I mean, they just had didn't they just change ownership in the past couple of years? New Japan?
They did, to like a toy company that also bought. Maybe it wasn't a toy company. The company bought them, and they bought Stardom at the same time and combined.
That's right.
And then they had the booking committee. And then recently, Tanahashi took over the book, and they lost most of their gaijin talent, which is like, all your European or American superstars. So, I don't know. It's in bad shape. New Japan's in kind of bad shape. Now would be the time to buy it, I guess, if you're going to do it. Tony Khan's been trying to book New Japan to begin with. Since the inception of AEW, or at least to me, he was like, I want to do New Japan 2017, 2018.
Well, I don't personally know if I'd say they're in bad shape. I do think that their talent pool, because of course you lose Okada, you lose Ospreay. I mean, two huge blows at one time, that can't help them. But what did Okada have left to do? What did Ospreay have left to do? I mean, besides, Ospreay could have just been on top of the company for a year or so and then come over, I guess. But, I think you can make a case for them staying or for them going as well. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. It's kind of like the TNA WWE thing. Like, is there a future in which WWE is going to buy TNA? I don't know. Like, we talked about that off mic, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Well, so the thing with New Japan is it's not just those characters you just named, but it's also like Naito's hurt. Kushida was the guy they were going to build around. That's why they signed him to that long contract. That's why there was all that, and he has a lot of injuries. That was going to be their new ace. Tanahashi is booking. So, you could always have him step back in. You got Sonata, you got Evil. A lot of people say Evil might be the next guy. Evil is not. That's not the answer, brother. It's not going to work for me, dude.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know. New Japan's in a rough spot. I I don't know. It's kind of weird. They're in a transitional situation.
They are.
And AEW's in a transitional situation, and to some extent, because they're about to have like a lot of contracts move out
Yeah.
the next 2 or 3 months, which could be good. Like free up, like as far as EBITDA, if we want to get really market nerd about it, like how much money are we spending versus how much money are we making?
Yeah.
Their TNT crapping the bed on the NBA deal actually works really favorable for AEW, because now they have no live sports except for AEW, and there's only so much Big Bang Theory you could watch. I love Big Bang Theory, but like, you could also just stream it somewhere else.
Don't make me kick you off the show like I did with Joe. I didn't kick Joe off the show.
I forgot you don't like Big Bang Theory.
I love Big Bang Theory. Joe doesn't like it.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, I got him on Monday. Check out Joe's podcast on Monday. I got him on Monday. We're talking about Young Hercules. So.
Oh my God. Nice.
At 2:30 Eastern time, which will be wow, that's a day.
That'll be interesting. So that kind of leads me to Forbidden Door. I've only got 4 matches booked so far. Swerve Strickland defending the championship against Will Ospreay. Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe. Ladder match for the AEW TNT Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vacour for this is winner take all TBS title and NJPW Strong Women's Championship. And Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World Championship. So we got 4 titles booked here. Well, actually, 4 titles booked. So that's all we've got at the moment. I said last week on the show that I don't want to see Strickland losing that title anytime soon. But Ospreay is white hot, and it's hard, like, to not. I don't know. What do you think about that, man?
That's exactly what we were talking about. That's why my Philip nailed it, by the way, with all his predictions, like straight up the line.
Yeah, he was the only one.
But the problem is, just because you nail it doesn't mean it's right. It's not what you should do. So, like when you're talking, Will Ospreay's got to win the title, right?
I don't think he has to, but I don't think that it needs to be a clean loss either. I think there can be some shenanigans where Swerve retains.
You can't do it. You can't do it at Wembley at the main event, dude. You can't do it. AEW is the anti thumbs down. We don't do DQ finishes, even though they did a lot of weird. I'm going to say weird. That's not the term I was going to use for the finishes on the last pay-per-view.
Well,
they
Forbidden Doors in Long Island, though. We're not talking about Wembley right now.
Oh, yeah. Well,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so they're
but still, like, so we know we're as far as the heavyweight title goes. I mean, what are you going to do with it?
I mean,
they haven't made us care. So here's the thing: is a lot of people really love Swerve when he had the build, right? Or not even the build. Even when he was a heel, he had an interesting storyline, right? Regardless of whether he was a bad guy or a good guy, he had something going on. And this is what I talked about on the last show I was on, is like he won the title, nothing burger. Like this Christian Cage feud, now he's going against Luchasaurus, like, and then it doesn't help that Samoa Joe just doesn't care about his title at all. Like he lost the title, he didn't care.
Hadn't even mentioned it.
No one cares about that belt. Like it's not even the primary focus of your show. Like, say what you will about WWE, when Roman Reigns steps on the stage and he's got 2 belts wrapped around him, that's the primary focus of their show. He is he's the undisputed champion. Right now it's Cody, but for 2 years people yelled about Roman having that, but he is the champion. They book the show around him, etc. Swerve is one of their people that have belts.
I mean, but you listen, you could also make the same case about WWE. CM Punk had the WWE Championship, was in the semi-main event for how many months in a row and never closed. He didn't close how many pay-per-views he was on. So, I mean, it can swing both ways.
I agree with you. We're talking, but you're talking about like 2014, 2013, 2000. We're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Talking about right now, Tom.
Yeah.
Right now.
Also the amount of time that company spent on that bloodline stuff. And you have to admit the amount of fatigue that set in. And now they're chanting, "We want Roman." They weren't saying that crap when he had the belt. I mean,
but you say fatigue, but it works. They're selling out everywhere. Their ratings are up.
Yeah.
Like they're chanting, "We want Rome." They want more of the thing that they yelled about.
Yeah, it's true.
So it depends on how you look at it. I mean, I get what and I'm not taking I'm not trying to crap on AEW.
No, I get it.
The entire point is like your heavyweight title is not a focal point of your show. It's an afterthought. Your tag titles are the focal point of the show. This tag feud that you have with the Bucks and the FTR or whatever. That's fine. That's cool. And it would have worked really well like 3 or 4 years ago when you actually made the tag titles important. And you had tag teams. You had Pride and Powerful. You had Private Party. You had LAX. I named them twice. But you know what I'm saying? Like you had like 6 or 7 tag teams. Sorry. Ooh, yeah. But you had a bunch of tag teams, and then they were like, "Oh, we need a trios title." So then you split that, and it becomes even more convoluted. And then you bring in Ring of Honor, and it becomes even more convoluted. And at some point, you got like so many titles with no direction at all. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not going to, pull away any titles anytime soon. I mean, if you're dealing with what's right in front of you, the Anarchy in the Arena match closes out the show, and it just so happens Swerve is your champ. Has Swerve not been the champ, had it still been, had it been anybody else but Swerve, would that still be a concern? And I'm just playing devil's advocate to what you're saying. Like, I think a lot of this is timing because they heated Swerve up, and then it's like, you don't put him over the title right now, when are you going to do it? But then you're also going, wait a minute, you just signed Ospreay, Okada's there. We didn't know about Omega yet. Like, is this the right time? But like, I don't know. Maybe in the end, this will be he loses it to Ospreay in the fall, but he gets it back next year from somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even over whether Swerve was built well or not built well. It's you have bigger stars when you start bringing people back. Like Will Ospreay. I mean, I love Swerve, but Will Ospreay kind of has that momentum going in. They pushed him. He's pretty much undefeated. Like, has he lost a match? I don't think he's lost a match in AEW. They're not talking about it, which is very Bill Goldberg, where they're not going to talk about it until it actually means something, right? And he's pretty much wrestling every week at this point. So I think that's what they're going to go with him. Which, if you want to switch Swerve back heel, that'd be a great thing at Wembley. Get the win.
That'd be something, wouldn't
it? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. Swerve's just kind of, I mean, a lot of the champions have been stuck in a weird spot. Like, so MJF got hurt. He had dropped the belt. Then Samoa Joe picked it up because they were like, we need a vet. Picked it up, done a great job with it, right? Dropped it to Swerve. Swerve got over as a babyface. Like, it's a weird AEW timeline. Like, actually going back even a year, because, like, if you go back to Punk, their plan wasn't what has happened as far as the championship goes. So they're kind of always booking on the fly with that, which can be fine. I mean, I guess I when I think about title contenders there, or heavyweight, I mean, Swerve's there. You think about Bryan Danielson, right? Like, Moxley has a heavyweight title and has not lost in a long time, so maybe that should be a number one contender. And this is the other problem with AEW is when they preach about wins and losses matter, and then they don't actually matter. That's the problem.
No, I'm 100% with you. Yeah.
So WWE, I get it. It's a lot of 50-50 booking, but they don't tell you that it matters. See, the difference is when someone tells you it matters, but it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens. I you know, as long as I like to see Swerve get a fair shake, and you know, again, if you didn't want Ospreay to be champion, you shouldn't have put him near the champ. Should have done something to sideline it, and it could be Don Callis turns on him, and that's what causes him to not get the championship. And you know, supposedly, they're very good friends, Swerve and Ospreay are, and Ospreay doesn't want to even take the title from him right now. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but you know, it's
Ospreay should take the title from him though right now.
You think he should?
He should. He's the most over babyface that to take it.
Yeah, I don't.
You should turn MJF heel. That's your like they're swimming, dude. Like they're losing. They're losing audience.
Well, that leads me to the next point. If anybody saw MJF's promo from Dynamite, I'm not sounding the alarm, and I'm not saying the show's over and let's go home, but I did not care for this promo. He made fun of Ospreay's teeth and said that basically Swerve couldn't talk, and there was somebody else he crapped on, and I'm like, it felt lowbrow for a guy that's not that guy anymore on the mic. And I thought, it's too easy. Like, and you know, something else, Chris, as you know, when you degrade your opponent, you better win. You better beat him. Because if you don't, and by the way, when you do beat him, who cares? He sucks, right? You're better than him and he can't hold a candle to you. Well, then, who cares if you won? Right?
We are talking about top tier guys, Tom, and I'm totally on your. You should be putting it like Ric Flair is a hard opponent, but I am Dusty Rhodes. You know,
yeah,
like that's I am the man, the myth, the legend. You know, like you gotta, like he is very tough to beat in the ring, and he causes all sorts of shenanigans.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get him. Like, what are you cheering for? That's like watching any New England Patriots game for Tom Brady passed. Cheer, right. I called it. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like, I totally agree with you on that. Like, you have to have a reason to care for the babyface. It's the same thing as like AEW is really guilty of this as well, and WWE is too. They've gotten better recently. Where baby faces just they do dumb things, they get murdered, and no one helps them. Like they have no friends. They're the good guys. Yeah. The bad guys should have no friends. Like when Dusty would be in a cage with the Four Horsemen getting like whipped or beaten, hit with a cinder block, right? You would see like people scaling the cage to come help Dusty because he was a good guy. He was a center of hope. He was a pillar.
Yeah.
Like and I know this is like wrestling is different, and I want to suspend my disbelief. So watching one guy get beat down by 15 people, you know, like, no one wants to help him. Like zero. Yeah. Where's Darby's flamethrower? He can show up and Hadouken.
And you know, that's kind of what happens in this day and age when you have baby faces who are edgy and bad and awesome, and they don't tend to have friends on screen. Like no one saved Austin. No one saved Stone Cold. The Acolytes did. That was it. I can't recall anybody else ever. Maybe Hunter when they were friends on screen, but like Austin's whole shtick was, I don't have friends. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to, drink and curse and all that stuff. And like, as a result of that, all right, fine, but you don't have any friends. Like, I think that's what's lost too, Chris, is we don't have any. Like, Cody Rhodes may be the last true. It's a huge statement because there's a lot, I'm sure. But right off the top of my head, like, people would help him, wouldn't they?
No, you're dead on. I was just talking about this with my wife, and she is a casual wrestling fan, and I said Cody Rhodes has actually hit the John Cena thing in a good way. So you see all these Instagram footage of him like picking up a kid and taking him in the ring and doing this big thing. He is an actual babyface. Now, whether or not the wrestling audience is going to like that or not, that's completely different. Like your internet mark, I'm an internet mark. Whether they're going to like it or not, but whether the people in the building are going to like it, like Cody going out, picking a girl out of the audience, picking her up, they're singing the song together, they do the weight belt. That's very, very, very old school babyface in a great way. And I think Cody's kind of knocking that out of the park.
He is.
And he's doing great with his psychology. And as far as in the ring stuff goes, I still don't think he's like amazing as a wrestler, but he tells good stories in his matches, at the very least.
He does. Yeah, for sure. But again, like, to your point, we'll move on from this, but if you discredit the other guy, then no one should care if you win, and everybody should care when you lose, because now you're a clown. So, like, I vividly remember Scott Steiner. Of course, keep in mind it's Scott Steiner, good Lord. But Steiner in TNA calling Samoa Joe, and I'm not going to curse, but Fat A, and calling him fat, and he eats 2 burgers and stuff. And I thought, what are we doing? Who told him this was okay? Did anybody bother telling him? And I don't care about loose cannon nonsense, Chris. Never cared about it. You don't book this locker room. I'm not going to let you go on my TV and call Samoa Joe fat. Do you understand what you're doing? He's one of our top guys. Like, I never understood that, dude.
Yeah, it's like, okay, he's big, but he'll choke you out. If you're gonna call him fat, there needs to be the you set it up beforehand, right? Like, Joe choked him out the week before, and he's like, yeah, but he's fat. And then Mean Gene's like, yeah, but he choked you out last week.
Yeah. What about it now? Yeah.
You can do that. Like, you can talk about him being overweight. I mean, they did it with Dusty, but you got to do it right.
There's a way to do it. Yeah.
It's simple storytelling. That's not like you don't. And this is and I love AEW because they have so great matches. That's the whole thing. Is AEW is the match factory almost of. Hey, do you want to see Bryan Danielson fight a whale with a laser attached to his head? They got you. Like, you're like, yes, sounds awesome.
Oh man.
But like the long running storyline, like right now, even though Samoa Joe lost that belt, he should still be chasing it.
Yeah, oh yeah, like, for sure.
He hasn't talked about it. And I did comment that he was going to babysit Hook. I was like, oh, they're doing the Taz thing from TNA. And see, that's also the problem, is they're doing the Taz thing from TNA with Hook. Like, why does Hook need a mentor at this point? His dad, he was in Taz's group, right? He has the FTW title. He's got like 20 wins. What is the mentor?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe going teach him how to choke people out more? Like, I don't like.
And I like
a little bit more.
Yeah. I like the idea of giving Joe a faction, but then if you do, isn't it too close to BCC? Like ground and pound submission? I kind of feel like it'd be too close.
That's more of the problem, is that you already have that faction. We're catch wrestlers. Hook is a catch wrestler.
Yeah.
Catch. Amateur style wrestling, judo, tosses. That's British was catch wrestling, right? That's what they call it. Yeah, so they already have a group like that. Like, so Joe is going to be like, I mean, he should just call it Choke 'em Out. The Choke 'em Out group. Robbie, I do see your comment over here. I do want to speak on this. Santino Morales. There's like 3 or 4 people as far as booking TNA. So it's Tommy Dreamer, not Delirious. Who's the old guy that used to do Ring of Honor with the mask?
That's Delirious.
Yeah, okay, Delirious, yeah, and Bubba Ray is involved, and they still have, if I remember correctly, Lance Storm is there. So it's not just, I don't know what Santino's contract status is like, but they're doing booking by committee, and their shows have been really good. So check it out.
Booking committee, yeah. Ray all day here to the show. We were just talking about MJF here actually, and that really, ill-advised promo he cut Wednesday. Look, I'm not. I will live and die by this sentence, and I do not speak in absolutes when it comes to pro wrestling business. I think you're crazy if you do. I do not believe that the tweener works long term. Long term works. I just do not believe it. I think eventually you have to choose a side, and even if it's only for a few weeks. But this idea of he's a tweener, Tom, I hear it all the time. And I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Because the minute whoever he is, Chris, the minute he slaps a hand, fist bumps a kid, he's a face. The minute he does this to a kid, I'm sorry. He's a tweener. No, he's not. Stop it. I'm sorry. It's the only thing that I'm even close to speaking in absolutes on for this business is I do not, in my heart of hearts, believe tweener booking works long term. I don't mean short term.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I agree with you 100%. Like there is no wrestling is based on a Western movie. Essentially, you got the good guy, you got the bad guy, and then you have the story. And you have to tell it in a spaghetti Western. You got to tell it really quick. So like spaghetti Westerns are like 90 minutes tops, right? You think about that before you pay-per-view, you got 4 weeks. That's basically around 90 minutes with the finish, right? So yeah, like I don't know. I people say they love to use that tweener term, and I will speak his name, Chris Benoit. He was the guy that got that was the guy. They were like, oh, he's a tweener. It's like, no, he's not. He's not really that entertaining outside of him being really good in the ring. Like he can't promo. No. He can't do anything backstage. Like I'm gonna be honest, Chris Benoit's great in ring worker, and I'll throw it back. Like watch the him and Kevin Sullivan WCW, that feud they had over Woman. It's great. It's great. Chris Benoit is in ring was a great wrestling. Terrible person. Screw that guy.
Yes.
But in ring, great wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's where that term started. That started circulating. Well, there's shades of gray. No, it's wrestling. Good guy, bad guy. It's not. It's Marvel Comics. It's DC Comics. It's Westerns. It's good guy, bad guy. People want someone to cheer for. Make people care about the person. They don't have Swerve getting like not talked about with his title. This should be a big deal. Like it should be a big deal that he is the heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? Like this should be a huge deal. He should be challenging Okada. He's like, I heard you were big in Japan. You know what I mean? Like instead of whatever they're doing right now.
Oh, and by the way, MJF put down Okada because of his body. Are you kidding? Like every fan in that audience may not say these words out loud, but I would say every fan in the audience could at least be in impartial agreement that Okada is either the best of his generation or at least top 5. And then you got MJF who's saying, oh, look at his body. He don't go to the gym. He don't work out.
You know,
what?
A lot of people said that about Ric Flair on the WWF side, but he was pretty good. He was very important to WCW ratings, whether people want to talk about it or not. We should get into this death of WCW, by the way.
Oh, I don't. I don't understand why we're still talking about it. I mean, just people are still continue to either cast blame or not take blame. And I'm like, how are we still? It's been 24 years. Why are we still talking about it? Like, I don't know, book after book and special after special and doc after doc. And Chris, it feels like it's never going to end, dude.
It's very smart to talk about right now, because overspending and giving talent too much.
I guess.
So
But,
when you look at someone like Jericho or Dean Ambrose, you could be like, maybe we gave him too much, like too much power, or the Bucks.
but at the same time, dude, Tony Schiavone, who was there for it, is on the record as saying AEW is nothing like WCW in the slightest, in terms of where they are right now, because you had people.
Tony Schiavone before AEW was working at Starbucks and doing Gwinnett Stripers games here in Georgia. So
Well, he's also a straight shooter too. So I mean, I don't.
Is he?
He is.
It's wrestling, brother. Like I don't.
He is,
I don't,
but again, like, show me the books. Like that. This again, I'm not saying that you're even wrong, but like this idea of that they're in trouble. Show me, prove it. Like,
I mean, they are in, like, literally, like, fine. Well, they're not in trouble because you have like billions. So
yeah,
trouble is like if I get a flat tire and I have to go get a new tire and I have $200 in my bank account.
Yeah,
he has $2 billion in a bank account. It's a very different amount of trouble. Like, so I don't understand necessarily what that would mean.
No, I think that when people should be concerned, if they should at all, it's not your money. What do you care? But like, if the next TV deal is not what they wanted, if it's far less than what they expected, that's a bad sign. Doesn't mean they're done, but that's scary. If they get what they expected, I mean, because then they've got time, right? They've got time to, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I think they're going to get what they expected because they're going to lose the NBA, right?
Well,
like that's already done. That's going to ESPN.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're gonna live sports is the one thing on cable programming that actually draws ratings outside of reality TV live.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and pro wrestling's always been a ratings draw since the 70s. I mean, it's always, no matter what anybody says, there will always be an audience for it. It will always be, people will always tune in. And it is what it is. I think it's the idea of live theater when anything can happen, and, storytelling, like you said earlier. I think it's always going to be around in some form. Let's talk about Dominion. It happens tonight, slashing. What you got? Or I heard feedback. Maybe that's what I heard. My bad. So either tonight, slash tonight and in the morning, we've got NJPW Dominion. You gonna stay up and watch it, Chris? Are you 3 a.m?
That's a big no.
I won't be up. I have stayed up. Before. I've stayed up like the climax tournament. I would,
Yeah, like G1, the end of the G1 or Wrestle Kingdom, I will stay up, but I will probably watch this in the morning.
Yeah, same.
East Coast morning, ATL morning.
For sure. Here's the card, kids. 9 matches booked. Tetsuya Naito versus Callum Newman. Naito should hopefully have a safe match and not get dropped on his head. TMDK and Ichiban Sweet Boys. If you don't like that name, there's something wrong with you. That'd be Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita versus Bullet Club War Dogs, who, Chris, Bullet Club War Dogs are on another level. Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney. Dude, they're absolutely like, just go get it. Just go get it. Like, Connors cut that promo and said, bring me titles or bring me bodies. I freaking love that. I'm so here for that, man.
Yeah. We talked about that on the last time I was on. Yeah, it's a good gimmick.
Love it. Yuya Uemura versus the Great Okan. I continue to be an Okan fan. Don't care what anybody says. That's for the KOPW Championship. Tanahashi, the president of the company, tagging with Toru Yano and Oleg Boltin. Oleg Boltin's going to be somebody, kids. I promise you that. Versus LIJ. That's Yota Tsuji, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi for the 6-man tag team match for the never openweight 6-man tag team titles. Jeff Cobb versus Ishii. I mean, if you're not looking forward to that, you're probably dead inside.
Yeah, I actually think that's going to be the match of the entire pay-per-view or premium live event. That's going to be a really good one.
Stop it. It's a pay-per-view. Knock it off, you WWE person.
No, it's not. Well, is it on New Japan Strong? I don't know whether it's pay-per-view or not. We got to go check New Japan Strong, and they got to check BR Live, and they got to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that premium live event. It's like calling wrestling sports entertainment. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it.
I'm from now on. Every time I mention wrestling, I'm calling it sports entertainment.
Just to be like that. That's something Joe would do. I should never have introduced you to Joe. He's a bad influence.
Hey, I'm gonna be on his show. We're doing young Hercules.
See, I blame me for this. Bullet Club, Kenta and Chase Owens versus Gorillas of Destiny, which is El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. And all right, so Bullet Club, Kenta and Owens, IWGP Tag Team, GOD, Strong Openweight Tag Team, and Bishamon, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. I love those two guys so much. And TMDK, 4-way Tornado Tag Team Elimination, winners take all for both IWGP and Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. Then we have Shingo Takagi versus Henare. Those two guys are going to commit murder, double homicide in the middle of the ring, and I'm kind of here for it. That's for the Never Openweight title. And then, of course, El Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori, best of the Super Junior 31 tournament final. And John Moxley versus Evil Hui in a lumberjack match for IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Any predictions for any of this stuff you got there, Chris?
Sorry, while you were doing that, I was looking up where you can actually watch it. That's the caveat, because there was a question in the chat. Moxley's gonna retain, I think.
No.
He might hold that thing all the way to Wrestle Kingdom. Do you think Bryan Danielson wins that at Wrestle Kingdom?
What, that title?
Yeah.
No. I think if he sticks to his guns and says he's done, this is last year, he'll win the AW World title this year.
Yeah, but that title means nothing. I'm sorry, but let's. I'm looking.
Maybe it is on the app. Maybe that show will be on the app.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, let's see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's on New Japan World. So if you have New Japan World subscription, it goes live at 12. So you should be fine.
You'll be set. Yeah.
Why is Naito the opening match of the? I know we already talked about this, but I'm still baffled.
It's a good spot for Callum Newman, but I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, like, as much as I love Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker himself, when you have Roosh and you have this group they were building, wouldn't Naito be the first guy you go after? Wouldn't it be LIJ? Naito has more personality. Like, people love Okada because he is Okada. He's a in-ring work general. Like, people aren't like, Okada's great. He's a great promo. Good, like, good character. He makes it rain money sometimes. Naito is like throwing belts to pay for chips that can be in stores.
But listen, if you're using the word elite, that's not Naito. It's not his gimmick. It's not who he is. Elite doesn't fit. It fits Okada.
Well, no, but I'm just saying in general, if you're going to bring one in, why would you not? Why was Naito not maybe higher on the list?
I think timing. I think Okada's contract was up at the right time. He had decided he wanted to go somewhere else. I don't know how long Naito's contract is. Naito may want to retire with that company. I mean, I think it's all a matter of timing, dude. I don't know if it's a matter of who I go after. I mean, look, let's be honest. If Khan starts pursuing their guys and like tampering, this relationship's going to go south. I don't think it's going to stay very friendly very long. But I think if it's a matter of, hey, we know that Okada's contract ends in 3 months, will talk to him. He's open to conversations versus Naito, who has 2 years left. I'm just throwing out a number. That's not someone I just think it makes for bad business.
I mean, like, well, we said the same thing about Okada, right? There's got to be something else going on with AEW and New Japan.
I don't know. You could be right. I don't know what it would be though.
Because like, where do you go with the belt? You put it on Evil?
I mean, I feel like,
See, you're like,
no, you can't put it on Evil. I mean, you can, but horrible idea. I mean, Ren Narita's there. I mean, you got Shooter Umino, who's both those guys are the future of that company. Yoda Tsuji, I mean, is awesome. Shingo's still in great shape. I mean, I think there's a number of choices, but I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you right now, but I think they've got options. But man, they meaning Gato is just incredibly high on Evil and that House of Torture stuff. And I don't hate those guys. Those guys are doing what they're told, and I'm perfectly fine with that. At any given time, those guys are good workers. Evil, I think, gets underrated sometimes and maybe a little bit of a bad rap. I mean, with LIJ, he seemed to fit in so well and was cool. There was something about Evil with that group that was cool from a distance, but like him on his own with that House of Torture just doesn't. The aesthetic of it doesn't look right to me, for one thing. I don't know.
So with Gato, you would assume the Evil is going to go super hard in the G1.
You would assume.
So everything headed up to that. So like, who wins the G1? Who's your pick?
Oh God, I don't have one. That's tough. And I mean, honestly, if you push Shooter too fast, it's too fast. Like, as long as that kid stays in good shape, his health's good, and he's still doing his thing and learning and getting better, there's no reason to push it. I mean, I would think
so it's either Naito or Evil.
Naito or Evil. Yeah, probably Naito. Unless, again, it's Shingo or, I don't know. Gosh, that's tough.
Naito versus Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom?
I don't know. They've done it already.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I do love that they separated the 2 nights, because Naito could just be like, I don't know, maybe you fight one of these nerds and then I'll wrestle you the second night.
Right.
Which is would be very Naito.
That's true. Again, we constantly wish the best for Naito and his neck. So all the best to Naito and his physical well-being. Because that guy needs.
Did you see Alma's message here?
I missed it. Someone from NJPW to team up with Ross and Marshall Von Erich, form a trios tag team to go up against the Bang Bang Gang. It would be sick if it's. There's a lot going on in that question, Alma. Supposedly Ross and Marshall are not technically signed to AEW, and I thought they were, but supposedly they're not. Don't know what the holdup is there. If they just don't want to, I don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody would be tagging with Goldberg. I think if they were to go the route of Goldberg, it would be to come in and work a 2-minute squash on somebody, and that would be it. Dustin's awesome. I think Dustin and the Von Erichs as a 6-man tag would be incredibly fun to watch. I mean, there's a lot of history in just that team, dude. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're bringing Goldberg in, you're not doing it for a tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's killing like Samoa Joe or Swerve. It's interesting. I heard that there was this is rumbling, so don't take me take me super seriously, but I have heard rumblings that they were signed and they were going to do a tag match or a tag thing. The Von Erichs, that is. But as far as Goldberg goes, like, I don't know, man. He had like a $1.5 million contract to do like 2 or 3 matches in WWE, and if you're AEW, that's dumb.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, he would spike a rating. I just don't know if.
But would he? Because like CM Punk spiked a rating by 100,000. Is Goldberg going to spike a rating by like 200,000? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but
he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, things haven't been the same since Punk left, and you know they've the hardcore AEW fans who are there for everything are going to be there for everything. But
I think the hardcore AEW fans are going to hate Goldberg because
yeah,
they're going to be Bret. They're going to be Bret Hart people. The Owen Hart tournament, like bringing Goldberg in, is the opposite.
It is
like what AEW is. Like, we're really into doing really, really, really good wrestling matches, and then you bring in Goldberg.
I think a lot of it would have to depend on how he's presented. If they wanted to go that route, it had to be presented the right way. You couldn't just say, "Here's the killer, kill somebody," because to your point, they'll turn on him. I mean, I think they probably would.
Yeah, if they were going to do that, they should have paid. I mean, well, obviously, this is before all the Vince McMahon lawsuit stuff and that jazz. But when Lesnar's contract came up, that would be the guy to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's no Lesnar is legitimate to some extent, so you can just have him come in there and check people out.
It's true. It's true. Speaking of Lesnar, you segued for us. Let's do a few WWE things before we get out of here tonight, kids. So the Bloodline thing, it continues. Now they're chanting, "We want Roman," because Roman's awesome and we love Roman and we'll never turn on Roman and he's awesome. But we see it's a slow build. We assume, Chris, to Roman eventually coming back and putting this group on blast and saying, you know, this idea that Solo's been talking to him on the phone, is all that going to be garbage? Is all that going to be nonsense? Like Solo just said that. I mean, I don't know. But like, I love that Tonga and Tom are on national television getting that attention because they're awesome. I love those guys to death. I think they're a good fit. But what do you think short term? What happens here? How long do you think we're looking at before we see Roman? Is it the fall? How soon do you think we see him?
Survivor Series, right? Like his team versus the new Bloodline, which I'm assuming is going to have Jacob Fatu at some point. I don't know.
The rumor.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but man, they really did. They found a way to make Roman a babyface because people really love him now. They're like, "We really miss you."
Yeah.
Oh, Roman, please come back. Turns out Roman's not a bad wrestler, internet.
Yeah, he never, well, I can't say he never was, but he was never bad to begin with. He was just young and learning, and everyone thought he's okay. But no, you're 100% right. Yeah.
No, he was never a bad wrestler. He got pushed too much.
Sure.
You want to say like push too much? You could say the same thing about Baron Corbin, right? Like push too much is different.
Yeah.
But we do have a human torpedo related to the Steiners right now that could shake things up a bit. Also, where's Haku? Maybe he's the maybe he's the other guy. He shows up and hits Paul Heyman with a Tonga spike. I'd be pretty excited about that.
That would be.
He chokes him out with the Tongan death grip. Is that what he was doing in WCW?
Yeah.
Basically a mandible claw, essentially.
Yeah. I thought, wasn't Tongan death grip in the shoulder? Am I thinking of another move? Like on the trap right here? Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know. I mean, you know, they always shoot it kind of. You could be right, Tom. I'm not gonna say you're not right. I will say, any Ming match in WCW, watch. It's the best thing ever because, like, depending on who he's working with, he'll get slightly annoyed and then just start throwing people, and it's the best.
Ray says, "Why are they burying Carmelo? Are they burying Carmelo? You think?"
Carmelo Hayes? No, I mean, I think he's just kind of in a weird spot, much like Ricochet was in a weird spot for, the last 6 years. They don't know what to do with him. They built championships around big hosses, but then they don't give like people like Carmelo or Ricochet wins or like convincing wins. So it's like they're guys.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the guy, basically.
Robbie basically asking, do we think WWE lets her go, meaning Becky Lynch, or could this scare them into offering her a new deal so AEW doesn't snatch her? I mean, look, I'm on the record. I'll say it again. I never say never about anything in this business. Do I think she's leaving? I don't think she's leaving, but I won't say here and say she's absolutely definitely not leaving, because like I don't know that. But you know, this idea that will WWE let her go? You can't stop somebody if they don't want to resign. You can promise them everything. They couldn't get Cody to. Cody asked out. Remember, he didn't want to be there. A lot of talents want either company. They want to go. They're like, I'm done. I don't want to resign. You can promise me anything. Like they offered Mox a lot of money to stay, and he's like, I don't want to stay. I'm done. Like I don't know if it comes down to that, Chris. I think it just comes down to what does she believe is the best opportunity for her in her career right now, and whatever that is, that's what she's going to do.
Becky is one of the higher paid female stars on that roster, and her husband works there, so she's not going anywhere. I think Seth just re-signed.
He did, yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's done. I mean, is that what's she gonna do? Go work with Mercedes Moné, who's had a very average run in AEW? Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna pay her $500,000 more.
I don't know. Good question. I mean,
she'll make that off merch if she has a good run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so when people talk about contracts, this is the other thing about contracts, right? They're not thinking about merch. They're not talking about replayability. They're not like, there's other things like percentages that are in a contract. So, like, for Becky Lynch to go to AEW, she's uprooting a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially being married to Seth Rollins and have those footage and all that stuff together. And yeah, my bet would be we'll have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at the next WrestleMania. That would be my bet if I had to throw money there. Charlotte's coming back. She'll be good to go. And you'll have Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Something like that. You'll do a situation of that, because why would you not? Because both of those matches will be great matches. Yeah, Becky's not going anywhere. The Liv stuff has became more tolerable simply because of Rhea Ripley. Like, Rhea Ripley is so over that it's like, oh, she touched Dominic. You're like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, she's gonna get killed.
She'll
get killed.
Yeah,
she's dead.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of weird.
Shane says the WB signed Chad Gable back. I think his contract ran out today. They supposedly made him a lucrative offer, whatever that number is. Don't know, but I don't know if I see him going anywhere, but he's not getting any older. If he wanted to, I mean, he's not getting any younger. If he wanted to take a crack at, you know, traveling to Japan or doing something else, now'd probably be the time to do it. He could always go back if he wanted to, as long as he's healthy. I mean, having said that, I don't know if he's going to leave or not.
So we've entered the Jericho vortex. No, I'm kidding. We've entered the vortex. We've entered the vortex of, like, now people are starting to leave the other company. And AEW has a lot of talent. What would you do with Chad Gable? That's the actual question. If AEW could sign Chad Gable, what do you do with him? Where do you put him?
I don't know, because I only know him through the gimmick that he has in that company. That'd be how I'd answer that. I think my answer,
which he won't have. That's
right.
Gone.
That's what I mean. Like, I think my answer to that question would be, how does he want to run it? We don't know that yet. We didn't know what Cody would be. We had no idea. You know what I mean? We didn't know what Cody was going to do. And then he showed up wearing suits and smoking cigars. And I'm like, I think I kind of like this. And then he did the ring thing. I'm like, I kind of like that too. So, like, I think it would depend on what, if he just wants to come in and warm ups and, hey, I'm 20 years old and I'm an Olympic wrestler or something, I guess you can, but, like, I don't know why you would. Like, I mean, to me, it's, it's kind of like, what do you want to do? And then let's talk about where I think we could put you. I don't know what that would be, though, honestly. What would you do with him if you were there?
If Chad Gable was coming in, I mean, guys, so the problem is like very heavy. Like, who do you have him beat? Maybe just straight beat the one of the mid title guys right off the bat.
Yeah,
because you're not going to be able to build up a win streak. You just got to beat the guy and get the pin. You do it on Ring of Honor or whatever, but I don't know. Down at the TBS Championship, who has? Wait, I'm trying to remember who has that belt. There's like 100 belts on the show, so.
You talking about the TNT title?
Oh, sorry. TBS title is the women's title. TNT title. Who currently has the TNT title?
Well, that's Takeshita and Jay Briscoe at the pay-per-view. Or at the
See, well,
Door.
Yeah. So what do you? That was my point. It's like, what would you actually do? Like, you're bringing him in. You bring Chad Gable in. What are you actually going to do with him? And that's been a problem in general with AEW. It's like, well, we're bringing him in. I mean, with the exception of CM Punk, like, but I'm,
yeah.
I don't know, Tom. What would you do with Chad? I mean, I can think of what I would do with Chad Gable, like as far as like booking him from ground up. But if he's coming in as a superstar from a different channel, what would you do?
Again, I think it depends on how he wants to be presented. What kind of gimmick does he want to run? How does he want to be known? Because that would, to me, I think, dictate who you book him against. I mean, if somebody like Copeland could come in and do whatever, because he's the guy that technically your young guys would want to take a crack at, so they could say I knocked off a legend, and then other legends would be like AEW faithful, be like, I don't care what kind of legend you are, I'll take a run at you. But with somebody in Gable's position, I don't know what it is he wants to be known as. I really don't know. So, like, to me, that would define, like, it. If nothing else, he just has banger after banger, and we just applaud every week that he's having killer matches. But where does that give him in the long run? I don't know. Besides getting him reps on national television, I guess. But, I'll be honest with you. I don't care for all that Otis stuff, and he's talking down to adults and making them feel bad, and like, these people are afraid to. What are we doing? He's a little fella. Why are we all upset? Like, I don't know. I'm okay with comedy to an extent, but some comedy I'm sick of. You know what I mean? Like, it's me talking. I don't know. Like, I would have to see what he'd want to do moving forward.
So, yeah, Copeland's gone for like the next year, basically, with this injury.
Yeah.
So, like I said, maybe you should have had Malachi Black win that pay-per-view match.
I mean, when he knew he was hurt, of course, his adrenaline's pumping. He doesn't know how bad he's hurt. I mean, should you have called an audible? That would have been a Copeland thing. I don't know. Like,
bro, there's no way you don't feel, as someone who has broken his leg, there's no way you don't feel your leg being not right.
I mean,
like, oh no, this is not right.
You would think so.
You take a step. He ran and did a spear. Like, you take a pivot step. You're like, that's not right.
Yeah. Speaking of titles earlier, Cody versus AJ. I see Cody retaining here. I don't see, and AJ after the 500th Twitter post of someone going, hey, he did Mark Henry's. I got it. Like, everybody and their brother on that platform. Hey, guess what, AJ? All right, cool. Can we move on now? It was awesome. Sure. Can we move on now? Like, I will say that Styles Clash off the steps scared me a little. And I thought, God, if he doesn't clear that last step, holy Lord, that would have been really bad for Cody. So, like, I was kind of holding my breath on that spot, man. It'll be a good match, if nothing else, Chris.
Yeah, but is it boring? I think it's kind of a boring match.
Is it? You are hard to please, brother. Let me tell you.
We just saw it. We just saw it.
Brino earlier said that for Gable, we would have given the Intercontinental title off of Gunther. And Marie's telling us that her and Brino were at the same show today. There's no evidence because it would break the internet. I see. Does that mean you had technical difficulties? Is that what you're telling me? Or you just telling me it wasn't filmed? I've been a part of shows when stuff doesn't work. Let me tell you.
Let's talk about break the internet first and foremost. If Stone Cold Steve Austin is coming out of retirement to do one more WrestleMania match, that might break the wrestling internet. Like, whatever we just read is not going to break the internet. Like, that's not, that's a match on a B pay-per-view. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if The Rock versus Stone Cold is happening, that might break the internet.
Yeah. What do you think they're talking about? Because they're talking about a local show that they were at. I think she was teasing.
Oh, okay. I thought they meant on like one of these shows. I was like, wait, let's break the internet.
Yeah. You had me thinking Stone Cold was coming back again. Jeez.
I mean,
so
those are some great ring names. I will say that they're already one up on some of the people in the double A shows.
Yeah, Marie. Shout out to Marie and Alora from Peaches and Power Bombs. So, yeah.
Brino Royce and Majestic Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Majestic Marie is a great name. That's a good name.
Brino's face is internet break worthy. There you go. Brino's coming at you a little bit. Shout out to Brino Royce. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. It's internet face like she yelled at a parking attendant, or is it like a cute face that will break TikTok? Like, what are we doing with the internet face break?
Yeah, Brino's a wrestler, so Brino's on his game here. So we'll give a shout out to Brino. He's been on the show before. It's been a long time though. We're gonna have him on again soon. Let's see. The only other thing I had for you was LA Knight and why. Explain to me why the crowd loves him and he's awesome and he's great and they repeat everything he says and he's obviously on his game, but yet in that sea of many fish, he continues to not be like, I don't know if we expect him to be world champion, but as long as I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying here. Like, I feel like, here's my question. Has LA Knight hit his ceiling in that company?
So it's kind of like it's so start and stop with him because like they had a clear path of what they were going to do with Cody and the Bloodline. So I don't know. What would you do, Tom? What would you do to rehab LA Knight?
I don't think you need to rehab him. I think you need to make something happen, or when his contract's up, let the guy cut him loose if you don't want to use him. I mean, I'm not saying it's world title or bust, but if you're going to tell me that you're pushing guys based off reaction and they're getting heated up and the fans want it, but then you tell me LA Knight can't be world champion, that might be kind of a problem. Like I don't know. It's weird to me. I just don't. It's like the other company heating up Will Ospreay and then he doesn't win, and then he doesn't win, and then they still love him, but he's not going to win the big one. Like, we know he's going to win the AEW World title. It may not be a Forbidden Door, could be in the fall, but we know he's probably going to win it. We can't say that about Knight at all. I don't think.
The weird thing about LA Knight is he's kind of the perfect. If you take Cody out of the equation, he would be the good chase guy, right? To finally get the W. But yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Like, what are you gonna do with him? And what does it matter if he wins a match? Really? Like, we've already learned. Like, why is he not challenging for the title? He got screwed out of the title by Roman. Why is he not like, hey, Cody, How about
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
Yeah. Good question.
It's similar with him and Samoa Joe. Like, why is Samoa Joe like, hey, lost that title, just went undefeated the past 3 weeks. And
I want that belt back.
yeah, like, rematch clause. Mickey James got a rematch clause. Like,
Shane says have Moose show up with his TNA faction and jump Cody Rhodes. I mean,
dude, thumbs up. That would be amazing.
the door's been
Also,
open. So
where's the Motor City Machine Guns? Let's go. Come on, Tony. TK.
they've supposedly been signed, but when they're going to be brought out, who knows?
I hope TK shows up with 7,000 flamethrowers, looking like the lowrider from Twisted Metal 2. It's both sides. And yeah, Motor City Machine Guns are like, hey, this was built in Detroit. We're right here. And then they call the Bucks Generation Me. That'd be.
Oh, you have got to get off that. No one wants that. No one wants that.
Hey, if I'm Alex Shelley, I'm calling him Generation Me. Like, you stole all of our stuff and you're doing all of our gimmicks, and you're not as good as we are. So, hey.
Well, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up, Generation Me.
So, kids, the floor is open. Let's do a few minutes if anybody's got anything wrestling related or not wrestling related. I guess if you want to go off topic, you can. If Ray all day's around, there he is. I knew he'd be here. Ray, you need to work on your delivery, my friend. I think you hit Eric B. and Rakim last week. Am I wrong? Maybe not. Eric B. and Rakim or Cypress Hill. I'll go Cypress Hill. That's a tough one. And part 2, Nas or Fat Joe. Oh, I'll go Nas on that one. And if Adam Cole came to your house and invited you and your family to see the director's cut of Bad Boys and said you could bring a friend, can I come? Later wanted to get grilled chicken and mixed veggies and apple pie and coffee. Could I join as well? Yes, of course. You have to answer, Chris.
Hey, Joe said I look like B-Real, so I gotta go with Cypress Hill here.
That's right.
Yeah, Cypress Hill and Nas. If you've not seen The Crow, watch along. Go check that out. It's really, really fun.
It's available.
Also, if it's still out there in theaters for you guys, it's worth a watch if you didn't see it in theaters. Yeah, they did the anniversary tour. I'm not just talking crazy.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I would go Cypress Hill and Nas. I love Nas a lot. If you said Big Pun, maybe I would switch Nas and Big Pun, but Fat Joe don't. Yeah, he's like he's Kmart Big Pun.
The podcast he's referring to, kids, on 6M podcast. We did watch along with the Crow. Go check it out. Robbie says this is put out of the box thinking. LA Knight is trying to start beef with Logan Paul. He would be a shocker to get LA Knight more heat. Here would be a shocker. Have him in title match with Logan. Have LA break out of brass knuckles before Logan does while ref is at Washington, take the U.S. title from him. I mean, they think a lot of that Logan Paul character. I don't like him at all. And I don't ever make stuff personal because I know that you should keep it to the gimmick. But I don't like the guy behind the gimmick, and I'm not backing down from that. So, hey, whatever.
Hey, Tom, you're not supposed to like him, brother.
It ain't about that. I don't like the guy behind the gimmick. Everybody knows what kind of guy that was before they ever signed him. So.
Yeah, he's good in the ring. I think he's a very good and annoying heel. Whether I would do that or not with LA Knight, I mean, maybe. What does it do with LA Knight? He has a mid-card title. I actually think like Logan Paul is a bigger draw than LA Knight right now. So what does that do? If you're gonna push LA Knight, push him. Push him. You know what I mean?
That's what I said. Yeah, why not?
Split brands. Don't have him doing mid-card title stuff. Like
for sure.
That's my opinion. I mean, like if he beat Logan Paul, they could have a fun feud or whatever. I will say this about LA Knight, even going back to Eli Drake TNA days, he is not the best in-ring worker. So the quality of work that you saw Logan Paul having with someone like a Sami Zayn or a Kevin Owens is not going to be a top-tier feud with Eli Drake and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Give you that.
Shane says Stan Hansen or JBL, who had the better lariat / clothesline. I will say JBL because he can see and he's not hurting people.
Stan, 100%.
I guess.
JBL, like, so people learned how to take his lariat. JBL really did try to kill people sometimes with it. Stan just killed people regardless, so it looks way more brutal to me. But also you get the oversell on the lariat, so you start getting the flips off the lariat and stuff with the acolytes or the APA, etc. You really start seeing like, oh, everyone has to do a flip bump off the clothesline. Whereas Stan Hansen hit somebody with the clothesline, it just like he murdered him in real life.
And I mean, Hansen couldn't see a foot in front of him, so that was amazing. He didn't really hurt somebody.
Yeah, I mean, the clothesline wasn't the problem. It's him throwing punches, right? Like, clothesline's arm straight out. Like,
but that's not where he's tagging you. He
pop.
But he's hitting you here. That's the problem. He's not hitting you out here. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but he sees that because that's timing. That's now we're getting nerd deep of like if I headlock Tom and I'm like, all right, brother, I'm sending you in the helmet. You send me in the ropes, and he sends me in the ropes like 1, 2, 3, and so you're right. But
well, kids, that may be it. If no one's got anything else, Am, I feel for you. I hope things get better for you.
I mean, also, like, Stan Hansen. You can't not pick Stan Hansen. That's like crazy to me. JBL did have a good close.
Yeah. Yeah. Stan Hansen, legend. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's the
funny part about JBL to me is JBL's best run in WWE is basically a chicken crap heel. Like, he is a coward. He's driving in the limo. He's dodging John Cena. He's like, he still has a clothesline if he needs it, but he's literally running away from people. Whereas Stan Hansen never had that. He's still close to people. In some time continuum right now, Stan Hansen is clotheslining someone.
Oh yeah. I mean, Stan and Bruiser Brody would, the stories are infamous about them coming back from Japan with literal duffel bags full of cash because they got paid under the table working in those promotions like All Japan, New Japan over there. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I heard Manny Fernandez was there right after his trip at Nam. He was right there, and also Raven, he was there, and Hogan, he was also there. Also, you guys should buy some crypto.
Yeah, I never did go look at. Did they? Was it Twitter? I'm guessing they pulled the tweets down by now, or what?
Yeah, he was hacked, brother.
Yeah,
it's not me, dude. I miss Joe. It's not me, brother. Yeah, I don't know. Don't. I'm sure everyone's aware of this by now that's listening to this, but do not invest in anything $ Hulk on the internet, because that is not Hulk Hogan. Or maybe it is Hulk Hogan, like with a Russian satellite or something. But don't put money into that. Also, don't put money in. Well, do your own stuff, but like I would highly advise against putting money in crypto right now.
I would do my research. As someone who worked in crypto for a year and a half, I would tell you, do your research before you put any money anywhere. And just like you would if you were investing in stocks on Wall Street, just be smart. Don't put your life savings into anything. Are you crazy? So there's my advice.
Yeah, definitely don't put it into meme coins like Iggy Azalea or Hulk Hogan. If 50 Cent gets a Bitcoin, maybe get it on that. He's been turning up pretty good lately. So
yeah. Well, let's see. All right, Robbie, one more and then we're taking it home. If Road Warriors and Demolition face Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express, who would win? Whoever the booker wanted to win, brother. That's what I would tell you.
Road Warriors, brother. Always going over. Road Warriors always going over.
Yeah. Road Warriors get the biggest payday of the evening, and they should, because that Road Warrior pop was impossible to beat for a long time.
Actually, this is not the answer they were looking for, but time limit draw, probably. But with the Road Warriors finish and like a the count didn't beat the time limit. That would be like Dusty. If Dusty was booking it, that's what he would do. He's like, "We get 20 minutes, baby, if you will."
Yeah,
they go 20 minutes and 4 seconds. So
that's like whenever I was asked, like, who's the best tag team of all time, Hawk and Animal, because they made the most money. For me, there's no other answer. And you could talk about skill and appearance and moves. I don't care. Like, they made the most money.
I mean, did they though? Because the Steiners made a lot of money.
I can't compare anything to the 90s, and I can't compare anything to today. But for their time in the 80s, yeah, I just, even money that sounds big to us now, they were getting paid. And you know what I mean? Like,
because they looked like someone was like, you know what's cool? Like Mad Max. They're like, yeah, bet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like big guys doing Mad Max stuff. That's sick.
Right.
Steiner, I think the Steiners are a better tag team, if I'm being honest. If I had to have a tag, if me and you had to have a tag match against one of those tag teams, I'm like, let's do the Steiners. Like, no, because the Road Warriors would kill us, brother. Like,
and you think the Steiners wouldn't kill you? Scott Steiner? Seriously? No.
No, if I pumped him up beforehand, I'm sure he'd take it light on us.
I mean, they would, yeah.
Yeah.
And I it's a weird thing to get into at the end, but I ride the line between people who consider what their version of tough is in pro wrestling, and I will always be the guy that says, you're not going to impress me by stiffing someone so hard that they have a hard time getting up in the morning. That's not impressive to me. What's impressive to me is if you made it look like you killed them and they feel great after the match is over. I just don't understand this. We have to be snug, and and I think there's a limit you can go to, but I think after that, what are you bragging about? Oh, they're tough. Who cares? Now the guy that you worked may not make the show tomorrow. He might have a concussion. You did that to him. He didn't do that to himself. You know what I mean?
Actual tough is Ole Anderson and Harley Race, because they were tough on the business itself and not necessarily the people in the ring.
Yeah.
That's what I would say was tough. Like, especially like if you guys watch the Dark Side of the Ring with Ole Anderson, that's tough. Like, being like, no, I'm not going to let you guys screw me. He ended up getting screwed over, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
But he did not. He did not go gently into that good night, as some would say.
Ole was one of a kind, for sure.
Very nice guy. When I met Ole Anderson, he was a very nice guy. I've heard conflicting stories, but he was really nice to me.
Yeah, so have I.
Maybe I caught him on a good day. Ole was really nice to me. So I can't say great guy, but really nice to me, at least.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's one of a kind.
Yeah, Ole and Harley, that's what I would think was like actually tough, because they like actually took care of business in their business.
Yeah, legends,
which is different. Of like, I'm just gonna shoot on this guy. If you're gonna talk about shoot, like I mean, you have to look at Japan, right? Like, my guy kicked Muhammad Ali so hard he had to go to the hospital with what was it like, the things you get in your blood vessels or whatever?
Oh, like yeah, blood clot.
Yeah, blood clots.
Yeah, the breakdown of that still fascinates me. Like, Inoki just, like, did they even talk about what they were going to do in that match? Like,
well, they did, and then Muhammad Ali's manager was like, "We don't want him to look bad in this match, so it should be like an actual fight or whatever." And Inoki started throwing leg kicks.
Inoki just laid down. I mean, because yeah,
Yeah, just crab kicking him. It's a weird. If you guys in the chat have not seen that, it is a thing to behold for sure.
And Ali was a big pro wrestling fan. Big pro wrestling fan. I mean, in a different world, Ali's a pro wrestler. He's not a boxer, because I think he would have, if the opportunities had been right at the right time, he might have gone into that instead of boxing. Because big fan.
And also Ali, like obviously he's trying to punch a downed opponent, which was the rules are weird in itself to begin with. It's kind of like watching a Brawl for All, where the rules don't make any sense. It's
and by the way, this goes back to my point of people's weird definition of what tough is in a wrestling match. If you need a better example, Ali was not a trained professional wrestler and was never taught. Technically, he never pulled punches. He's a professional boxer, world champion. He had that spot in Mid-South with Jake Roberts when he was supposed to knock Jake out. It looked awesome. Jake never felt a thing. Love that story. He's like, I was kind of scared this guy was going to kill me. And he's like, never felt a thing. He threw it perfectly. And I'm like, that's a pro right there, man. So like anybody coming to me saying that things have to feel hard and be, shut up. I don't buy that. Like, it's a different era. It's not the 70s anymore, man. You know?
I mean, to be fair, Jake the Snakes not felt a lot of things. What time period are we talking about?
Yeah, if it's Mid-South, that was probably early 80s, I'd say. Maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, highly recommend watching that Jake the Snake Dark Side. That's it's a rough one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, kids, we're going to take it home, I believe. Before we get out of here, Chris, let everybody know where they can find you out there, where they can find your podcast and all that good stuff.
I'm on Twitter. It's at Chris R. Patton on Twitter. It's Christopher.R.Patton, which Tom has tagged there in the below. If you like weird covers and stuff, and or just want to talk wrestling, feel free to direct message me or add me on Facebook or Instagram, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, that and Wrestling Geeks Alliance. We normally do pay-per-view recaps and some other stuff, depending if crazy things happen in the wrestling world.
There you go. There you go. Chris, hang out for a bit. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it very much. All right, kids, there you go. Christopher Ray Patton from the aforementioned Wrestling Geeks Alliance podcast. See, I got it that time. See, I got it that. Aren't you proud? Remember to follow the show, if you will, boinkstudios.com. The website is updated almost daily at this point, so go check it out, if you will. Bookmark the site. Check it out. Follow us on the YouTube at Boink Studios, and do that, if you will. Follow us on all the socials, if you will, as well. Instagram, of course, here on Facebook, and the Twitter machine. Can't miss it. Thanks much, kids, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Remember, we will not be here next week. And don't anybody get too upset with me. I promise you I'll be back the week after. Never you fear, Tom will be here. In all his fluorescent glory, I continue to have weird lighting happening. One day I'll get the lighting correct. I make no promises. So thanks, kids, for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Everybody, have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. And that's all I got for you, kids. Be sure to give us a follow. See you later. See you in 2 weeks. Have a great one, kids. See you next time.